Greetings, everybody. I'm Bill Selby, the host of the true crime comedy podcast, Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer. This episode is one I never imagined doing back when Todd Teal and I started this podcast back in April of 2022, but here we are. Friday morning, April 25th, 2025, I woke up to the tragic and heartbreaking news that Todd, a great friend and brother from another mother, had passed away from an apparent heart attack. He was a friend. He was my brother. And we were in a popular local metal band in Merritt Island, Florida called Madstone back in the late 90s. And he was also the original co-host of Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer. The regular listeners of this podcast know this, but I'm not just doing this episode for them. I'm also doing this for his friends and family who may not have even known that he was on a podcast. I've put together seven segments from 7 episodes that stuck out in my mind, and you'll hear Todd laughing and having fun on these segments. But that's just a fraction of what's available on the podcast. I mean, he was on 83 of the first 84 episodes. He left the show, but came back for 4 more. He was also on several episodes that weren't numbered. So, I mean, he's been on over 90 episodes of the podcast, which is literally over half of the catalog. I'll tell you the later episodes that he came back on, and those episodes have video on them that you'll be able to find on YouTube. I'll do that at the end of the show. But this episode, there's gonna be a little bit of video on it in this episode as well, just a little bit. But the 4 episodes that he was on that have video on him, you'll get to see about 12 hours of him on camera total. And plus, God, who knows how many hours on the other episodes that don't have video. But let's get started, shall we? I'm going to start this off as if it was an actual episode, using the intro and outro from an episode that was recorded but never aired due to technical difficulties. But the intro and outro are fine. And I'm not going to lie. Doing this episode was really hard, but it was worth it because Todd was such a sweet and caring person. And I don't think that anybody who ever met him ever had a negative thing to say about him. So rest in peace, my friend, my brother, my bandmate, my fellow podcaster. So raise your drinks, everybody, and let's toast Todd and enjoy hearing our friend laughing and having fun. So let's kick it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and Beer.
And beer. Just 2 crazy Florida men drinking beer, talking about true crime.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the police they're sitting right outside my house. But anyway, that's Todd.
Hey, and that's Bill.
All right, here we go. Our first segment is from a couple emails that we got. I was a truck driver at the time, and I would frequently stop at the Love's truck stop in Fort Pierce, Florida, the one with the Arby's. There's 2 in Fort Pierce, and for a while it seemed like every time I went there, something weird happened. I told like 6 stories about weird things that happened at that place. But we got 3 emails from people, women, talking about how sweet and cuddly and like a teddy bear Todd seemed. The second one, Todd read the email, and I hadn't seen it yet. But this woman had her own story from that particular Loves, ironically enough. And, well, just check it out. Here it is. So, anyway, I don't know how long this one's going to be, this episode, because, it started a new era. I'm not handwriting my notes anymore.
Yes.
So I'm, I don't know how many notes I have, because obviously the text on a on a computer is smaller than what I would handwrite. So I don't know how long. I don't know how many pages I got. This episode will determine that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could be here for a while. We just don't know.
No, I don't think it's going to be awful long of an episode, but we have no idea. So, all right. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Wait. Hold on. Hold on.
What?
Have you checked the email lately?
It's been a few days since I looked at it. Why?
Because we got an email.
We got an email from a listener?
Yes.
Awesome.
From a listener.
Awesome.
And I will read it.
Sweet.
It says, "Hi guys, my name is Michelle, and I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I found your podcast." Hi, Michelle. Yes. Thank you for the email. "I found your podcast when you did the Faith Assembly episodes. I grew up in that as well, but I have listened to every episode since." Right on.
Sweet.
Thank you. Oh, now the good part, because she has a story about your favorite place.
What?
Yes, your favorite place, the Fort Pierce Loves.
The one with the Arby's?
The one with the Arby's.
She's from Fort Wayne. What, you going on vacation?
I know. Well, let me keep reading here. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm writing because I have a Fort Pierce love story. My family and I took a vacation to Miami this week, and driving down I-95, we came to Fort Pierce. And I saw the sign for the Loves and talked my husband into checking it out. We got off at the exit and saw the Loves with the Hardys, but not the one with the Arby's. So I looked online and found the other one 2 miles away. And sure enough, it had the Arby's.
Yep, that's at the next exit.
Yep, so we went there. As we were sitting down eating our meal at Arby's, an old man walked in. There was a wet floor sign up near the door. The old man was in a bad mood, and he kicked the sign out of the way, bitching because it was in his way. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better.
What?
Then he slipped and fell on the floor. We laughed at him, and he got up, embarrassed, and stormed out.
That sounds like something that would happen at that Loves.
Yeah, right? Anyway, so we went there just to see the place, not expecting anything to happen, but sure enough, we wound up with our own weird story from that Loves. LOL.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if I should read this last part.
Why? Oh,
It
go
might make
ahead.
you mad.
I know. I have a feeling I know what it is.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it like that.
Right. Anyway, she finishes up with, "Keep up the good work. And by the way, I think Todd is a cute and adorable teddy bear, too. Sorry, Bill. Love, Michelle."
What the effing heck?
Dude, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't.
You got, oh man, that's 2 now.
Yes. I'm sure there's
All right.
people out there that love you too, Bill. You'll get one eventually.
Yeah, they're just saving the love when they can just all gush on me and get it like all like within a matter of a couple of weeks. Or at least that's what I'm going to tell myself now. Thanks, Michelle.
Right.
Love
Anyway.
you, Michelle.
Yep. Thanks for the listenings. We appreciate it. That's cool, though, that she actually went to that Loves because you talked about it.
Yeah. I'm going to start charging Loves if people keep doing this.
Right. I'm your best friggin' advertisement.
Man. I don't know what prompted those 3 emails. I mean, they were all funny, and Todd loved every minute of it, and of course he did. But now we have some video of him, and I don't have the original, but it is on the Instagram page. He did an old episode spotlight promoting our very first episode, The Death of Michael Malloy. And if you're not familiar with the story, you need to go check it out, when you finish this episode, because it's likely one of the most insane stories you'll ever hear. But I don't have the original video, so I just recorded it off of Instagram with my phone. And here it is.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Todd Teal here with Powder Blue, and this is an old episode spotlight. We're going all the way back to episode 1, The Death of Michael Malloy. This story takes place in the 1930s during the Great Depression and Prohibition in New York City. Tony Marino, owner of a speakeasy, was having hard times because the place was literally a nasty hole in the wall, and he wasn't making any money. Tony was a syphilis-ridden piece of shit who cheated on his wife, moved his side piece in, then killed her for a life insurance payout. But he, and a group of other shady characters, Frank Pasquale, a mortician, Red Murphy, a homeless bum who Tony hired as a bartender, Tough Tony Bostone, a mafia hitman and liquor provider, a taxicab driver named Hersey Green, and Daniel Kreisberg, who just happened to be there when they came up with the plan. Now, what was the plan, I hear you ask? Well, it was to take out life insurance policies on Michael Malloy, a known drunk who was getting up there in age, then give him an unlimited tab. He'd drink himself to death, and they'd get paid. Except it didn't happen that way. Michael Malloy refused to die, and they escalated their plot against him with multiple insane attempts on his life. That failed. So, check out this insane story about Mike the Durable who refused to die. It may sound unreal, but it's 100% true. So, until next time, cheers everybody.
He only did one of those. But the powder blue sippy cup that became a Todd staple on the show. It's like rum and Coke in my powder blue sippy cup. Next up, we have a clip from a 2-part episode on Boone Helm. Who was he? A Wild West outlaw who was a murderer and a cannibal. I guess that's kind of a redundant statement, right? Oh well. But these were episodes 27 and 29. It's a crazy story, and the reason they're not back-to-back is because episode 28 was the Halloween episode in 2022 where Todd took lead and did an episode on cryptids because he was like really, he loved cryptids. But it was supposed to be a series called the Crypt Todd series, which was awesome. He came up with that name too. I love it. But we never did another one after that. But he also took lead on episode 17, Elizabeth Bathory, and that one was a total train wreck because we were both schnockered before we even started recording the episode. But we did get through it several times. Several times. It was hilarious. I mean, it was horrible, but hilarious at the same time. You can just hear us just trying our damnedest to not sound schnockered when we were. But like I said, we got through it. He also took lead on episode 13 about flat earthers. But here is the Boone Helm segment.
Boone was also a gifted horse rider, and he had a trick where he would throw his Bowie knife and stick it into the ground. Then with the horse at full speed, he would whip out of the saddle, hold onto it by the saddle horn, retrieve the knife, and pull him back up into the saddle. This is while the horse is going full speed.
Wow.
I freaking wish there was video of that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there's somebody on YouTube has recreated that scene.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look for that. So, As a young man, he would get drunk and he would just clear out a tavern in brawls, just because.
Yeah. Why not?
Like, damn it, this beer's warm. I'm kicking everybody's ass.
Oh, boy.
As a young man, he would get drunk and clear out a tavern, and I already said that.
You did.
I'm kicking your ass, Bill, because you already said that. So, he had the attention of everyone. The men, because he was the total badass, but the women started lusting after him because they wanted to tame the local wild man.
Oh.
You're not going to tame me. Get over here, I'm going to kick your ass.
Interesting.
Yeah. But his father stopped talking to him. He was afraid of Boone, and his mother was sad because of the monster that he had become. And his brothers and sisters were afraid of him as well. So, not everybody likes him.
Yeah.
So his family was leaving for better opportunities, and nobody was planning on staying there, but they didn't tell Boone that they were leaving. He was just going to be left behind, but that wouldn't happen just yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's coming. They're in the discussion phases about it, kind of like me in the situation that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
But inevitably, I'm like freaking Kim Jong-il over here. Inevitably. Inevitably. I'm so lonely. Where the hell was I?
Inevitably.
Inevitably, Boone clashed with the law. He had spent nights in jail, and he had multiple warnings, and he and the sheriff had many screaming matches, but the sheriff was afraid of him.
Well, yeah, no shit, right? Guy's freaking huge.
You know, in our first episode, old Tough Tony Bastone, he had the right idea when it comes to somebody like old Boone. Well, why don't we just fucking shoot him?
Yeah, right? Let's fucking shoot him.
Let's just fucking shoot him.
We'll get the shit done with, man. What are we fucking around for?
Yeah, but it came to a head after a particularly brutal beatdown by Boone. The judge had issued an arrest warrant, and God, I wish there was a freaking movie about him, because this scene is fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm warning you. This is going to be one of the ones where it's one of those episodes where it's just like you kind of find yourself rooting for the bad guy, but that goes away later.
Okay,
it goes away later. Trust me. So, the judge had issued an arrest warrant, and Boone was on his horse when the warrant was served. He didn't even dismount. He just grabbed the summons, and he simply rode his horse into the courtroom that was in session. He started screaming and demanding to know who had issued the warrant, and insulting everyone. Take a guess as what happens next.
Oh, his horse took a shit in the middle of the courtroom.
Probably, but that's not where I was going with that.
Oh, okay. I don't know then.
The judge rescinded the warrant.
The judge did? Huh.
Yeah.
The judge is afraid of him too. All right.
Yeah. So he just turned his horse around and went right by the sheriff, saying, "Better luck next time, boys."
Damn.
Serve me a warning, go and kick your ass.
Yeah, right. Three more people he's got to start kicking ass.
Yeah, he was only 20 years old at that point.
Jeez, he's still a child.
Yeah, he's a freaking badass. So
he's a bully, but that's it is what it is.
Well, yeah, most bullies are badasses. Well, that's not true.
Yeah,
bullies only seem like badasses till you stand up to them. If you stand up to Boone Hill, he's going to whoop your ass.
Well, he could try. Because I'll just take Tough Tony's outlook on the whole thing and
yeah, exactly.
fucking shoot his ass. You ain't so tough now, are you, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Look at that. You just turned your head into a fucking canoe. How tough are you now? He'd probably still get up and kick my ass.
Yeah. Tough Tony got killed by his own freaking flunky.
Well, you know.
So now, at this point, his family bounced. All but his parents. His father still wanted nothing to do with him, and his mother let him live with her. And all he did was drink, and the law was focusing on him. And Boone decided that he had to do something. Marriage.
Uh-oh.
Marriage is what brings us together today. And love, true love.
True love. And here's the Princess Bride.
So enter Lucinda Browning.
Oh.
So Boone had been courting it. Yeah, he had been courting her, but she was playing hard to get. Yeah, she liked him, but she wasn't going to be a notch on his bedpost.
Yeah.
And he actually resented her for denying him, but that made him chase her even more. And she was 17. She's only 17.
Oh, geez, now Winger. Oh God, where's this going?
and he was 20. So this is shortly after he rode his horse into the damn courthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When they got married, they should have just rode horses into the courthouse.
Yeah, right. How fucking cool would that have been? Both of them just riding in there.
Both of them. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. I'd have done it.
So he finally wore her down, and they were married and it was at the same courthouse that Boone had ridden his horse into. But now
what are they going to do? Say no?
Yeah. So yeah, we want you to marry us. Well, Boone, I don't. Oh, marry us! I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah. Riding my horse right up in this motherfucker.
But his conquest was achieved, and all he did on his wedding night was just get trashed. And listen, he didn't consummate. He didn't
lay the pipe. He just got drunk.
No, he just drank and drank and drank and drank and drank. He's like, I just got married. Let's have a drink.
Let's have a drink. So she was
drink?
playing hard to get, and now he's playing hard to want. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, he could have just kicked her ass.
I'm sure that's going to come up.
It is. But I mean,
he just seems like that kind of dude.
Yeah, I'm not making fun of domestic abuse or anything like that. I'm making fun of Boone.
Yeah. So don't get it twisted, all right?
Right. So, yeah, Lucinda made sure that he didn't choke on his own vomit, because you can't really dust for vomit.
You can't really dust for vomit. Jesus.
But
we're not even half an hour in. We've already done 2 movies and a song reference.
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 and a song reference that I remember.
Yeah. So, and there's more coming. Some I didn't have any of these written down, but there are some later that I did have written down.
So you didn't forget, just in case.
Yeah, but these just off the top of my head so far. But
yeah, those are the best ones.
Yep. But he screamed at her for for trying to make sure that he didn't choke on his vomit. Maybe she should have let him just choke on his vomit, because you can't dust for vomit.
Yeah, and then everybody wouldn't have been happy because the town bully would have been gone.
Right, and our episode would be over right now.
Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.
Oh, wait, that didn't happen. Never mind. You're stuck with us for another hour and a half at least. Come on.
Yeah. So she cooked him breakfast and the next morning, and he freaked out on her, accusing her of not consummating the marriage the night before.
Come on now, dude. You know you would rather been drinking, so it's your fault. Fuck him.
Right.
Dude, I already don't like him. I was liking him. You said that was going to change. I did not expect it to change this quick.
Yeah, I know, because he really treats Lucinda like shit.
Yeah, that's another thing I just can't fucking tolerate.
We're going to fast forward here. Basically, Boone was an abusive drunk and everything. He beat his wife and whatnot, and one time he took off to go do some mining work, and he would basically come home broke because while he was out there, he would drink away everything that he made. So we're coming back to at that point right there when Lucinda discovers that she's pregnant while Boone was gone.
Nah. So while he was gone, she realized that she was pregnant. And she petitioned for divorce. And Boone came back and he flipped out. And the money that for the divorce had been put up, somebody had given her the money. Guess who it was?
His horse.
God, you're trying to kill me.
I don't know. The answer to the last question was his horse, so I was going with it again.
It was his father, Joseph.
Okay. I guess that makes more sense than his horse, but I bet everybody's laughing at that one, though.
Oh, shit. We need to put a disclaimer. Like a lot of podcasts will have disclaimers. Oh, we cover sensitive topics that aren't meant for, like younger viewers or sensitive or listeners or whatever. Yeah. We need to put, so it's like, take a sip of beer in between paragraphs so that you don't die when Todd drops a freaking zinger.
Funny. The only thing that would have made that funnier if it actually was his horse.
I know.
Yeah, his horse has been saving that money, dude. He's been.
Well, the horse was, while he was out, the horse was being proactive and everything, and hiding away some of Boone's money.
Well, yeah, because horses do that.
Right. He's the responsible one.
Yeah.
She should have married the horse.
Oh boy.
Oh shit!
Now Peter's gonna be after us. Oh fuck!
His horse? Was it his horse? That killed me. Next up, episode 30. William Cottrell, the mayor of Cedar Key, Florida, in the post-Civil War era. This guy was the real-life embodiment of Yosemite Sam. Hot temper, bad shot. His reign of terror ended after the U.S. military was sent in to Cedar Key by President Benjamin Harrison to oust him. That's the only time in U.S. history where that's happened, where the military was sent into a U.S. area, to oust an elected official. But Cottrell bounced, and his demise was very fitting for the person for the person that he was. So enjoy.
Uh-huh.
Now, Lil Wayne was a lot of things, but one thing he ain't is a damn federal Yankee.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we know Lil Wayne isn't, but yeah, Lil Will isn't either, right?
Did I say Lil Wayne?
You said Lil Wayne.
I bet Lil Will could play guitar better than Lil Wayne.
Dude, my cat could play guitar better than Lil Wayne. Anyway.
Although if Lil Will hit a bad note on guitar, he'd just shoot the fucking thing. Well, he'd shoot and he'd miss.
Yeah, he'd just shoot it.
And miss.
He'd try,
But
anyway,
so
moving on.
Smith's searches for Cottrell were met with resistance. Word got back to President Harrison, who basically said, "You all couldn't handle it, so we will."
Uh-oh.
So, I mean...
I'm sensing an Avengers Assemble moment here. Is that what's coming?
Well, the thing about it is this is the only time in American history where the military has been sent to an American city to oust a government figurehead.
Yes. It is an Avengers Assemble moment.
Yeah. This is the only time in the history of the United States that this has ever happened. And of course it happens right in old good old the Sunshine State, Florida.
I know, right? It happens in Florida. No wonder everybody hates Florida.
He
See, I thought everybody hated Florida because we look like America's Wang. Apparently not.
He definitely hated, it's just like he definitely is the first official Florida man.
Florida man, yes. Florida man elected mayor.
And then the second one was
gets the army sent after him.
I'm assuming the second ones were the Ashleys. But then there could have been some. But there was probably about 30 years in between where Cottrell's story ends and the Ashley story begins. So there could have been another one in there. And you know what? If there is, I'm going to find it and we're going to cover it.
Yes, yes, hell yes, we are.
And
I'm totally down for that.
Truth be told, I found this story for the first time listening to that podcast, Florida Men on Florida Man. They did a good. I mean, their story on it was only like 20 minutes long, but it was good enough to like get me hooked. And it was like, okay, I'm doing research on this. We're covering this piece of shit,
Right?
So, and I'm glad I did because I had such a good time, doing the notes on this, and I had the research, and I'm having an even better time actually doing the episode.
Oh yeah, no, this is great.
I love this.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So, but Cottrell was still missing in action. He had made it to near the Georgia border and then crossed over through the Panhandle into Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh.
He was immediately taken into custody there, but he was released on bond to wait for his court date.
Why do they always do that?
I don't know. But
oh well.
Unlike Boone Helm, Cottrell didn't bounce.
Oh really? He stayed? He actually stayed? Holy shit.
He stayed there. So
that's unexpected.
Yeah. So but Lil Will shortly resumed his old habits. And on November 5th, he was arrested because he was schnockered and he was trying to pick a fight with a local restaurant owner. He was arrested and let go. It's just basically, hey, calm your ass down. Yeah, it's just like
settle down, little man.
they knew that he was wanted, but they didn't know the extent. That's the only thing that I can gather from the stories.
All right.
But he was arrested and then released once again.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
But he swore vengeance on the police chief, Adolph Gerald. He's running his mouth, and he was saying that he was going to kill Gerald in a duel that he had challenged him to. It's like, I'm challenging him to a duel.
Oh, did he slap him in the face with a white leather glove?
No, he didn't get close enough. But he's just like, Sheriff, duel you. I duel you to a challenge.
I duel you to a challenge. Yes.
I mean, I challenge you to a challenge. I mean, I duel you to.
Yes.
I'm gonna kill you.
Oh God. I kill you.
The next morning, Lil Will showed up at the police station demanding Gerald come out and face him.
Yeah.
Take a guess. What happens next?
Oh. I don't know what the guy decided. The guy said, "Hell no, I'm not gonna face you." That's the obvious answer, but I'm sure it's something a little more intricate than that.
Yeah, you're partially right, although he didn't say it in so many words. Gerald didn't bother playing Cottrell's games. He grabbed a double barrel shotgun and just blasted him in the torso. Once in the torso, once in the eye, leaving him dying in the streets.
What? Holy shit.
Boom.
Somebody actually fucking tough Tony'd him?
He tough Tony'd him.
Fuck yeah.
The newspaper, the Montgomery Advertiser, called it a bloody and ghastly spectacle.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Dude, yeah.
God,
fuck.
You know what?
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. I was just like, holy shit. This is great. But it wasn't the intervention of President Harrison. It wasn't the Coast Guard cutter or even Pinkerton who put a stop to this. It was a shootout in Alabama, a one-sided shootout in Alabama with a police chief who wasn't taking any crap that ended it all.
Wasn't taking this little guy's shit. Fuck yeah, dude.
So, Lil Will was a lot of things. but alive wasn't one of them.
Yeah, but bulletproof wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I did not see that going that way.
I didn't either. I mean,
wow.
So the story made national headlines, but to this day the story has faded into obscurity.
Damn. Next up is episode 39. We're staying in old school Florida. Bo Mazzell. He was the origin of the term Florida cracker because of his skills with a whip. He could snap a fly off a horse's ass and the horse wouldn't even know anything had happened. He had nothing to do with the slave trade, which is where the Florida cracker term was later taken. He was a legend in Florida, and he wasn't a murderer. His worst crime was cattle rustling, and he always got out of it with his sharp wit. He was a great guy, but he was also an infamous prankster and an infamous drunk too. And Todd absolutely loved the story, and I did too. But Todd was hearing it for the first time, so we're gonna play that right now.
Yeah, dude, I've seen that in like movies and shit where they like rebrand the cows or whatever.
Yeah, and the cow's sitting there like, you already burned my ass once.
Right.
Moo off.
Well, you know, I've got to hide that brand and make it look like my brand. Yeah, dude, I've seen that shit like on like documentaries and stuff where they really did that. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Well, not cool, but
I mean, it's not cool, but you know what I mean.
It's definitely a skill that you have to master.
Fuck yeah, dude. You have to line, dude, you're talking about a cow that isn't sitting still for this shit. You have to line that fucking shit up perfectly.
Yeah, and make the other brand disappear. It's like, yeah.
And even then, it doesn't always work.
Right. I mean, I would say that doing a cover up on a tattoo is a hell of a lot easier than doing this.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
But so one night,
well, yeah, because I did. Yeah, if you're covering up a tattoo, the person that's getting the cover up is sitting still for you. So you can
true.
do what you have to do, dude. You're talking about rebranding an animal, then that's just like, yeah, it's not going to sit still for that because it remembers what happened to it the last time that's happened.
Yeah.
It is not going to sit still. So actually getting it right on there to like completely cover it, that had to be a hard thing to do.
The cow's
I mean, I don't know.
The cow's
I'm just assuming. I have no idea.
The cow's like, fuck moo.
Fuck moo. There's a t-shirt.
So one night,
God.
one night, a friend of Bone, Ed Wells, who lived on the west side of the Peace River, jokingly told Bone, "My wife is alone tonight, so I hope there won't be no trouble over there." And Bone said, "Don't worry, I'm not working that side of the river tonight."
Oh, Jesus. All right, yeah, dude. I love this guy already, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's not a cannibal.
I think I like him better than old fucking Mike the Durable.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's awesome. So,
oh God.
One judge, a man named Colonel Zwig, Z-U-I-G-G, Zig. We'll just call him Zig.
Zig.
He was also a beef baron that Bone had worked for, and he had hired Bone to work for him just to run cattle, pretty much. I mean, he wasn't like the cattle foreman like he was for King Zeba King. I keep wanting to call him King Zeba.
King Zeba.
King Zeba.
I like it. Anyway,
but during that time, Bone was arrested for larceny of domestic animals, and while in court, he was in front of Judge Zig by himself.
Oh.
So he had to distance himself from Bone, because if he didn't, that would have exposed himself as corrupt. So he asked Bone what he had to say for himself, expecting Bone to keep his secret because Zig was paying Bone, and he was paying him pretty well to run these cattle.
Right.
So Bone says, "Now see here, what do you want to go and get me arrested for? I've stolen thousands of cattle, and I put your brand on them just because I stole a couple hundred from you, and you go and have to get me indicted?
Oh shit!
You just better go and get that whole deal non-prossed," which means thrown out.
Yeah.
And
oh boy,
but Zig went on ahead and indicted him, but Bone was later found innocent somehow.
Huh. All right.
Obviously, the townspeople like him.
Well, yeah, it seems like it, because holy crap. I mean, all right. I mean, dude, I like the guy. Fuck, I'd have been on his side. I've been like,
oh, hell yeah.
Leave the guy alone, man. He's just doing his thing. Fuck.
Like that's Bone Mazzell, man.
Yeah, man. Leave the cracker alone.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. I mean, he was one of the legendary Florida crackers.
Oh, yeah.
So one time when Bone was in court, he walked in with a hat on, and the judge fined him $20 for wearing a hat in court. Bone pulled out $40 and said, you better take 40, sir, because I walked in here with a hat on, and I'll walk out the same way.
And I'm walking out with it on. Fuck yeah. Fuck the fuck yeah. Damn right he did. Ah, I love it.
Yeah.
Here, take 40, because I'm walking out with a bitch on too, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love this guy. But Bone couldn't read or write. And he at one point ran a grocery store, and he would give people tabs if they couldn't pay. Yeah, because he was a good guy. So
yeah.
So he would make marks on paper and try to remember what the mark meant, and he ultimately went out of business.
Well, all right. That makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah. Later, Bone was leading it
because if you can't keep track of your fucking debts, dude, Jesus,
yeah,
of course you're gonna lose.
And then
money
of course
and go out of business.
You give one person a tab. He's going to tell his friend. His friend's going to come in there and get a tab. Pretty soon, you're giving tabs to everybody, and you're losing money.
Yeah, You tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends. Calgon, take me away.
So later, Bone was leading a herd of cattle to Tampa on a shipment, for shipment. And he was riding, he had an old horse, and the horse just basically quit on him, said, I'm going to sleep.
I'm done.
I'm done. So he saw an old black man nearby plowing, and he told his companions that he was going to go trade horses with the man for his old beat up horse that just just decided to take a nap for this much younger. So his companions are like, man, you're going to need a lot of cash too, because that farmer's horse is a lot younger and stronger than your old horse. Right. So Bone went to the farmer, and his companions watched him scribble on a piece of paper, and then the two men exchanged horses. And when he got back to his companions, they were dumbfounded, and they're like, how the hell did you pull that off without any money on top of that old horse of yours? And Bone's like, I wrote the guy a promissory note for the money. And his companion said, well, but you can't read or write. And Bone says, yeah, well, neither could he.
Neither could he. Oh, God, that's great. Oh, man. Neither could he. Holy shit. Oh, I'm sure. He seems like a very charismatic individual.
Yeah. So Bone was also an infamous prankster. At one time, a carnival came through Arcadia. Yeah, and it set up next to some railroad tracks. And Bone got in trouble for stealing the carnival's thunder. Yeah.
How did he do that?
I'll tell you, he was thrown out of the circus tent by officials. I guess he was probably drunk and making a scene or whatever. But Bone then took the ropes from the tent and attached them to a train that had stopped there. When the train pulled out, it took the circus tent with it.
Oh, damn.
So Bum was arrested. He was fined $75 and he paid it. And he said the prank was worth $1,000. He's like,
did he pay it in poker chips?
No. He said the prank was worth $1,000, $925 more just to see the train leave.
Just to see the train. Oh, God. I love this guy. Dude, I want to be this guy's friend, man. I want to hang out with this dude and drink with him and just have a good fucking time.
Dude, when I told you
Fuck
when I was
some shit up and just have a blast, dude. Fuck me, dude. I really want to go meet this guy.
I actually went to Bum Mazel's grave and did a shot with him. Oh, man. But one memory that I have of Todd, I was 16 years old. He was like 20 or whatever. He was working nights at a gas station. And I would go out there and I'd hang out with him. And it was just like a scene from the movie Clerks, just shooting the shit, flirting with women who came in or attempting to, making fun of customers after they left. Just typical young Gen X, young adult Gen X stuff. I did that quite a bit. I mean, Todd and I, when we met, we were just, peas and carrots. So, but I put the word out for people to send me voice clips of words that they'd like to share about Todd. Several people did. I'm going to play them now. And the first one is from Joe Williams, an amazing drummer, awesome guy, awesome friend. And he was in Madstone with Todd and I briefly before the band fell apart. But I think he was in other bands with Todd as well. But yeah, love Joe. But here is his message.
Hey, Todd, brother. You're one of the best, man. You really were. Good guy all around. You know, always had a kind word. I'm gonna miss you, bro. I really am, man. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I mean, we actually got, we got a decent amount. We got about the amount that I was expecting. But next we have Paul Mekas, who actually took over as co-host when Todd left the show. But he was actually on with Todd and me in episode 61 about the Heaven's Gate cult. Also, Todd came on as a guest with Paul and me on episode 115, which is Ricky Casso. This is Paul's message.
Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas here. I co-hosted CKCB for a few months, maybe several. I lost track, but it was fun. It was great. And I got to know Todd in an unexpected way. And I got to know him, got to like him, got to understand him, and what's crazy, got to miss him after realizing what had happened, and it was a shock to me to hear the news. And I just wanted to let everybody know and let Todd know that it was such a pleasure to get to know him, even though we never physically met, but only virtually, from one screen to the next. He felt like a brother of mine. It felt like I really got to know him, and it felt like I got to have known him for quite some time. He became a familiar to me. And just want to let you know, God bless, Godspeed, and thank you very much, Todd. It was great to get to know you. Thank you. Blessings.
Thanks, Paul. I mean, that was really that was really touching, and I really didn't know that you guys had gotten that close. But yeah, I feel like I should say that just because Todd left the show, came back, left again, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we still stayed friends over that. After that, we didn't part on bad terms. It's just like back in the day when we were in bands and everything. It's just like you're in a band, somebody quits the band, you're not going to, oh, fuck that guy, because they're not in the band anymore. And it's the same thing with the podcast. So Todd, just because Todd didn't want to do the show anymore, I mean that's just it. I mean, I mean, we never stopped being friends. In fact, when he died, we were planning on having him come back, as a guest with Sandra, the current co-host and everything. He wanted to do that. So, I mean, I just felt like I had to throw that in there, because Todd probably would have, come back to the show. But next up, we have another longtime friend and bandmate of Todd and me, Chris Gifford. Since the 90s, with the exception of the time that Todd and I were in Madstone together, Todd and Chris were in bands together pretty much the entire time. So this is Chris Gifford's message.
What's up? Chris Gifford here. Man, what can we say about Todd Teal, Todzilla, the myth, the legend? So surreal, losing somebody that's been on the stage with me for almost 30 years. And in that 30 years, we probably had a combined total of 1 year when we weren't on stage together. Between Blindside, Hard Ass, Flesh Weld, freaking Bring the Rock, Exit 69, Retroactive Days, Overload, Reload, Black Moon Syndicate. The list goes on and on. We've done this together. He's a true friend, true brother, and like I've seen on a lot of people's messages, he is that guy. Do anything for you.
Michael Jackson was very much our...
Thank you, Chris. And you're absolutely right, bro. He was that guy. He would, you know, of the people that I've known for 30 plus years, Todd is the only guy, the only friend that I have that I've never, ever gotten into any type of an argument with. I mean, and it wasn't because he compartmentalized or whatever, just like, okay, if I'm being a freaking prick or whatever, he just blow it up. No, it just never happened. He was just, like Chris said, he was that guy, and I mean, but now we have another podcaster who sent in a message. This is Mark Bootlier of the podcast Mental Illness Theater. The true crime comedy podcast similar to ours, but it was similar, but it couldn't be more different. Todd always loved their name, Mental Illness Theater, because what a great name for a true crime podcast, But Mark was on episode 37 with us. The story of the Bayou Strangler, Ronald Dominique. This episode was cursed from the moment that it started. Everything that could have possibly gone wrong did. And I mean everything. I mean, that was just a total tornado of clusterfuck. But it actually took over 6 hours to get it done. But the three of us powered through it and we got it done. So this is Mark's message.
So I just heard from Bill about the passing of Todd, and really taken aback by that. I had worked with Bill and Todd a couple times on CKCB, and I always found him to be a really funny, personable dude, very friendly, and I liked his style of humor. He wasn't over the top, over bombastic. He was just kind of low key and he knew where to put his humor, and I really liked that. So to Todd's friends and family, I'm just really sorry to hear the news. Like, I hope you guys are doing okay and like trying to pull through it. And to Todd, man, safe passage, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, Todd, Mental Illness Theater, Mark and his wife Gina, they were actually the first like buddies, podcast buddies that we had on Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer. So, I mean, yeah, thanks, Mark. That meant a lot. Yeah. And now we have Chris Long, a.k.a. DL Serious or Deadly Serious. He was, he was on an episode. I'm gonna touch on his episode, the episode that he was on like later on in this, but he was the lead singer of Dead Serious, who back in Central Florida in the 80s and 90s, Dead Serious was the band all the other local bands wanted to be. Todd and I were lucky enough to, actually become close friends with him. And, he was, Chris was, Chris is a great guy. He's an author. He's, actually even does missionary work and stuff like that. He's a very great guy. But, we're gonna play his message now.
Hey, everybody. This is Christopher Long, a.k.a. DL Serious, from the band Dead Serious. Tragically, we've lost a few friends and colleagues over the last year or so, and Todd was one of the best. And he was definitely the smartest, funniest, and way better looking of the two male co-hosts on the Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer podcast. Todd was a sweet guy and a talented musician, and he was a tremendous supporter of my band, and that really meant a lot to me. So Todd, you're missed by many, including me, and I'm sure you're keeping it groovy, good buddy. So sit tight. I'll catch you on the flip-flop.
Thanks, Chris. And of course, he had to throw in the jab at me, But I mean, that's just who he was. He would always rag on you. But when he ragged on you, it's just that's how he, if he ragged on you, that made he liked you. So so rag on me all you want, Chris. Thank you. But wrapping it up, we have Mike Dirks. He didn't want to leave a message. He just wanted to dedicate a song that's very fitting. The song is called January Day, and it's by a band that Todd and Mike were in together called Blindside, which Chris Gifford, mentioned. And I was also briefly in that band as well. They brought me in to play bass, and that band went through bass players like Spinal Tap went through drummers. But in this song, you get to hear Todd rip on a guitar on this one, and Mike's piercing vocal range as well. I mean, it's a very emotional song, and when you listen to it, you'll understand why Mike chose this particular song to do it. It's not just because Todd was playing on it; it's the lyrical message. So, but actually, Mike Singh has been on the show before, and I can't remember exactly which episode I used the song in, but the song is called Angel in Front of Me, and I featured it on the CKCB music episode, which is 109.5. And I did a duet on that one. But wrapping up the personal tributes, this is Blindside and their song January Day with Todd on guitar. But we still have more segments to go as well, so don't go anywhere. And believe me, I've saved the absolute silliest for last, so don't go anywhere.
For the hearts that we can't see, and when death is a mystery, you're not wondering how it ended.
I mean, you know, I've heard that song like a bunch of times and everything, and yeah, and that song was written about a guy that the guys in Blindside knew back in the '90s, who passed away much, you know, way too soon, way too young, just like Todd. But it never really hit me, you know, like it did here. And Mike Dirks wanting to, you know, not wanting to make a voice recording and everything, and doing, you know, doing the just saying, hey, play the song. I totally get it, because I mean, everything about it is, you know, I mean, it's appropriate. So, damn. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Blindside. And, you know, damn. Hope you guys like that song as much as I do. Anyway, we're gonna get back to the fun stuff, you know, the clips from old episodes with Todd like laughing and having fun now. And the next up is Henry Lee Lucas. And funny part about this, I mean, I used to do things, or with, you know, when Todd was on, I would do things to try and trip him up and, you know, just make him laugh. And this next bit with Henry Lee Lucas is basically, I mean, yeah, mission accomplished. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, she couldn't attract a man outside of prison. She was an alcoholic, expecting Henry to fuel her habit once they were married, so she rushed Henry. You gonna marry me, Henry? You gonna marry me, Henry? I love you, Henry. I want to be Stella Lee Lucas. 'Cause I love you.
Yeah, that was it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, you know, Stella was broke and she was thirsty.
Yeah.
And Henry didn't care. You know, he didn't care. He just wanted to take his fresh start and make a straight legit life with Stella.
Oh, all right.
So his mother visited him that Christmas.
There it is.
And decided that this woman ain't good enough for my boy. I only want the best for my boy. I love him so much I dressed him up like a girl and threw him to my customers.
Oh, God.
I love the money I got off of him. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
So she met Henry at a bar where he and Stella were having an engagement party, and Stella tried to greet Viola, and she sneered, I ain't got no time for you. I'm here to see my boy. And then she pushed Stella out of the way and grabbed Henry by his shirt and said, what were you thinking, boy? What filthy thoughts are swimming around in that head of yours?
The same ones he had with the mule, I guess. TikTok gold, baby.
So Henry said, I'm getting married, Mama. To which which Viola replied, ain't no woman ever gonna marry you. You're scum. Girls would toss out their boots if they ever got you smeared on them. Nobody could ever love a dirty little bastard like you.
Oh, God. Dude, I almost feel bad for him the way his mom's talking to him like that. But you know.
Oh, I know. And I actually right now I do kind of. Well, he did kill that girl.
He did.
But
yeah.
But still, But still, it's like, yeah, he was rehabilitated, and he did want to kind of make a fresh start out of it.
Yeah. Good for him.
She says, but she continues.
Of course.
Mind you, all of this is right in front of, his bride-to-be.
Yes.
And she continues. She says, not once I tell them all about what you did. Once they know what you are, ain't nobody ever gonna love you.
Oh, God.
These parts I'm just reading out of the book.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not reading all of it, but just like, screw it, I'll just read right out of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the first time in months, his missing eye began to weep.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it would weep other things, like pus and stuff like that, but actually tears came out of it for the first time.
Man.
Yeah. Mama, please. Please? I don't remember you never saying please to me before. Don't you remember saying please? Don't remember you saying please to none of them animals or children that you put your dirty little pecker into, neither.
No.
Did you think I didn't know, Henry? Did you think nobody knew what you were up to, you filthy little bastard? You monster!
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
He wasn't sobbing, but there was water streaming down both of his cheeks. So she says, here's what you're gonna do, Henry. You're gonna say goodbye to your little whore here. You're gonna pack up your shit, and you're going to get on a bus with me, and we're going to be going back home where we belong. Wouldn't you like that, Henry? To come back home like you was meant to be when you got out of jail?
Oh. No.
Sometimes, a lot of times in these episodes, I'll be like, okay, where's Tough Tony when you need him?
Yeah, right? Where is Tough Tony when you need him?
But
he was probably still alive around this time.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He wasn't. Never mind. My bad.
This salvo drove Henry Lee to stand up to his mother for the first time. No, Mama. Estella loves me, and we're getting married. Viola shrieked, no, don't you say no to me, boy. She started slapping him. And then she switched to closed fists, and when it became clear that he was just going to cower and take it, he says, you don't say no to me. You don't never say no to your mama. Like an avenging angel, Stella had risen up and come between him and Viola, and the two women were screaming at each other, shouting over the other. Neither woman was getting an opportunity to get a word in edgewise, but still Stella stood her ground, keeping her body between Henry and his mother like a shield. You can't treat him that way. Viola shrieked right back and said, don't need no trash like you telling me how to treat my boy.
All right.
I'm picturing the mother on Throw Mama from the Train.
Yeah, exactly.
I really am.
Which is probably why you're doing that voice.
Exactly. Also, it kind of sounds like my ex-mother-in-law, too.
No, there you go. There's that.
But, her fists were up again. While there had been a grim fury on the old woman's face as she beat her son to the ground, it was now replaced with a dark delight. This was what she had wanted to do from the very beginning. She'd wanted to come and find that little bitch that would dare take her baby boy away from her and knock her teeth out. It was like a dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
So, finally, the bar's bouncer intervened, and through the...
Holy shit, this was all going on in a bar?
Yeah.
I must have missed that part.
Yeah, they were having an engagement celebration.
Oh.
It was like it was like people that that Henry worked with and
Okay, I guess I missed that
friends.
part. My bad. Carry on.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was going on in the bar. I thought they were in their house or some shit.
No, so he tossed her out. Henry rushed to his beloved's side and tried to sweep Stella up in his arms, and she pushed him away. She scrambled out of reach of him as he was like reaching for her, and she was horrified to see this side of Henry. She had known that some small part of his sordid history from their time as pen pals, but she had no idea of the monster that had raised him, and nor how powerless that he was against her. With her hands still shaking, she stripped the engagement ring from her finger and she threw it at Henry. She saw, like, I can't deal with this. That thing was your mother? Is that where you came from? I can't marry you. This is just too much. And you know what? I don't blame her.
No, not one bit. Dude, run, honey, run fast. Because it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Oh. Good for her. At least she got away from there.
Yeah. So her friends swooped down on her and they helped her back to her feet and formed a protective bubble around her. To keep Henry away. And he's begging, please, Stella, Stella, I love you. I love you, Stella. I love you so much, Stella. Now I sound like Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I love you so much, Stella. You got a cigar? Got him.
Oh, yeah. When you derail your co-host.
Yeah, we're fast forwarding because Henry gets arrested and institutionalized because he actually wound up killing his mother Viola, who showed up at his house to continue her assault on him. So here we go.
He was then sent to Iona State Mental Hospital, and in interviews with doctors there, he said that he had heard his mother telling him to kill himself in her head.
Oh, of course.
You know, if I had that ghoul talking in my head, I'd probably want to kill myself too.
Well, there is that, yeah. But, dude, it's just like, fucking...
Kill yourself, Henry. Come be with me forever, Henry.
Oh, you hate your wife. I hate my mama. So throw my mama from the train and I'll help you kill your wife.
Come rub my bunions for eternity, Henry.
Oh, God. Stop it. Just stop. Oh, don't make me throw you from a train, man. Come on, bro.
I think that's the last we're going to hear from Viola.
I fucking hope so.
Okay, the last one comes from episode 9, which was called MK Ultra Mask Murderer. And what it really is a story of Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime and Operation Mindcrime 2 told as if it were a real true crime story. The band Queensryche even got a hold of this episode and posted it to their socials, which is awesome. But toward the end of the events in Operation Mindcrime 2, our anti-hero Nicky is hiding. He's like doped up on all sorts of drugs and he offs himself, which made Todd wonder if he had cats, because if you die with cats, the ferocious felines will eat your corpse. This part was not in the script, but if it doesn't perfectly illustrate who Todd was, I don't know what does. But at the end of the segment, there's an ad that Todd reads. I mean, it wasn't initially done like that. I kind of pieced it together. There was a different ad that we put in there. So, but that really shows just how much of a crazy cat lady that Todd was. But the female voices that you're going to hear in the ad at the end of it are Todd's daughter Amanda and his wife Rui. So that is pretty cool to include them in this as well. But I do have to say, disclaimer, The recording quality on my end is horrible because when we recorded it, we were in the middle of a really bad thunderstorm and we had to use like noise cancellation and everything. So I sound like total crap in that, at that particular episode. But anyway, we're going to roll that right now. And
the last words in his journal were C. Mary SOO. And there's blood all over the page. When he was found, the diary was open and he had a gun in his hand. He had blown his brains out.
He couldn't wait till he finished the word?
No, apparently not. Maybe he was playing Russian roulette with one hand.
But
with
damn,
a
dude,
revolver.
like seriously, dude, like
it doesn't say
finish
what
your
kind
entry,
of gun that he had.
and then pow.
This whole thing reminds me of like that scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they were like where they found the Og carved into the wall and everything, and they're like, well, maybe he died while carving it, and they're like, no, he wouldn't have carved Og. He would have just said Og, and he would have just died. So, God, that's what this reminded me of.
Yes, it's like, see, Mary. Fuck, I didn't finish soon.
Well, that's why I think he was playing Russian roulette as he was writing, like left hand. Because if you have a revolver, like a small revolver,
he was like, see, Mary, and he was just spinning the chamber, like
right.
Or actually didn't spin it. He spun it once and it was just like clack, 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 see, Mary, clack, clack, clack,
boom. Yeah, and there's blood all over it and everything. And he was found decaying several days later, obviously self-inflicted gunshot wounds with that frickin' journal in his lap, doused with his own fucking blood.
Did he have cats?
What?
Did he have cats? Because, cats will eat your corpse if you die.
He was in he was like holed up somewhere. I mean, he wasn't like at his house.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, dude. If you die and cats don't get fed for a while, they eat you. They'll eat your body.
Is this another fucking cat story?
Yes, it's another cat story.
Oh,
I'm a cat guy, dude. I have 7 cats, man. Shit.
Okay, you got to put cats into a story like this?
Yeah, why not?
Why would you?
Because that's where my mind goes. Because I'm deathly terrified that if I die, like in my bed, then my cats are going to eat me.
Oh my God! What would you care if they did? Good God! This is like the second time in our podcast that you brought up cat stories.
I know. Dude, what can I say, dude? I'm a crazy cat lady. Who knows? Who cares?
Oh, God. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Todd, you're not going to believe this, but we have a sponsor.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we're going to play the ad right now. And it's just like cats. Are you going to keep doing the fucking cat thing?
Maybe.
Anyway.
Is your feline fur baby having uncontrollable hairballs?
Kitty Chat with Todd
can help. Does your precious princess sharpen her claws on your brand new microfiber sectional sofa?
Kitty Chat with Todd
can help. Join Todd, the crazy cat lady. He can help you with all of your pussycat problems and your kitty cat concerns. Did your kitty develop indigestion after it ate your meth head roommate who died of an overdose while you were on vacation?
Kitty Chat with Todd
can help with that too. Find the Kitty Chat with Todd podcast at Kitty Chat with Todd on MySpace.
Kitty Chat with Todd
it has the answers you need.
Kitty Chat with Todd,
where every day is Catterday. Meow.
Meow indeed. Oh man. That was great. I mean, it's just, that's who Todd was. I mean, he loved several things in his life. He loved his wife, he loved his daughter, he loved his music, and he loved his cats. So, I mean, oh man. But yeah, that wraps it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And just remember, you can find a treasure trove of episodes with him at ckcbpodcast.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. But before I get to the later episodes that he was on, I want to spotlight episode 53, and that was the one that I mentioned earlier with Chris Long on it, aka Deadly Serious or DL Serious. He came on to talk about his tie to the William Cruz story, which was our episode number 3, and it wound up turning into a very deep dive on the history of Dead Serious, because actually his band actually had a tie to that story. It's a great listen. He can't, the scene of that, the music scene that Central Florida had at that time was incredible, and we go into great detail about that. But in that episode, that was the first and only episode that Todd and I, Todd and I, or me and any of the other people that have been with me on the show, ever did in person, and it was really cool. And Chris was there too. Oh, we were just all over there at Todd's house, and it was really fun, just the 3 of us. But the later episodes that Todd was on are number 115, Ricky Casso, along with Paul. Number 118, The Movement of God Cult. 119, a very long episode on serial killer Jerry Brudos that should have been 2 episodes. And number 120 is the smiley face killer Keith Jesperson. Todd had a beautiful daughter named Amanda Mulberry, and I'm going to throw a couple of pictures of her up right now. This picture is of the 2 of them. I mean, this picture was actually, I wanted to think that was, it was very shortly before Todd's death. And you look at him in that picture. I mean, he looks just fine. I mean, nobody saw this coming. But that's his daughter on the left, obviously. And, here's another one with him and Amanda when she was little. Well, she's not really little, but when, she was a teenager. Really sweet picture. Look at Toddzilla right there with that beautiful little, little girl who loves her dad so much. But I got one more. This one is when Amanda was little. As I've mentioned before in this podcast, the subject has come up. Todd is a black belt in the martial arts. Like, so, I believe he's a black belt in like several different martial arts. Like, I don't know anything about that, but anyway, here's a picture of him with Amanda when she was getting into it, and I would just assume that Amanda is probably a black belt now, so don't mess with her. but isn't that sweet? But yeah, so I just felt it necessary to throw these in there. But Amanda is the one that's tasked with all the arrangements with his estate and his memorial and all that stuff. But he also had a wife, Rui, who he was actually with since the 90s. And here is a picture of the two of them. This is a few years old, back when Todd was rocking the Grizzly Adams look. Yeah, what a cute couple. They were together for a very long time. But I kind of like this next picture a little bit better. It's an older picture, but I think you'll agree. Yeah, I don't know. It's Todd as Todd. There we go. Yeah, that's my favorite picture of Todd and Rui. So, thoughts go out to Rui and to Amanda. But we're done, and I'm going to play the outro now that was from that episode that I talked about at the beginning. But before I do that, I just want to say, Todd, you're an amazing friend and a brother. I couldn't ask for a better person to have in my life. Yeah, I love you, bro, and I will see you on the other side. So once again, everybody, raise them up to Todd. Clinks. Thanks a lot for listening. Like, share, subscribe, comment wherever you listen to podcasts. You can comment on Spotify and on Apple. And also check us out on YouTube. If you want to see videos of us yakking, you can obviously also comment on YouTube.
Yep.
So anyway, thanks for listening.
Yep.
And if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell a foe. And until next week, later.
Cheers, everybody.